y'all. So welcome back to my channel. It is Liv Loves Literature. I hope y'all like my cute little tree in the background. Those actually are not lights, it's actually tinsel. So, you know, I'm serving you egghead today, so I hope you don't mind. We're gonna talk about my favorite books of the year, y'all. I'm so happy to be doing this because, as I mentioned in a couple videos, this is like my reading renaissance. Like, this is like my homecoming to reading. And the fact that I have had such a good reading year is insane. I came into this year wanting to read at least 30 books and left reading, I'm like almost to 120 right now. Of course, it's December 8th? No, it's December 9th, I think, today, that I'm recording this. So of course the year is not over, but considering I'm just kind of reading fun Christmassy books, I don't think I'm gonna read any books that are like really gonna give me whiplash or something. I mean, you know, I'll eat my words if they do, but like, I'm just kind of allowing myself to ease and cheese through the rest of the year. So anyways, we're gonna get started. We're gonna start with we're gonna go in order of how I read these. So let's see, let's figure that out. So the first book on this list in chronological order is, of course, Ethic by Ashley Antoinette, okay? I'm going to tell you a little bit about the book, just a little bit, and then why it was one of my favorites this year. All these books were rated 5 stars, by the way. Like, nothing but 5. And so there are not that many books here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I didn't even try to do that, y'all. I didn't even try to do that. But coincidentally, I only rated 10 books 5 stars this year. Like, for real, for real. That is crazy. Top 10 of the year. But anyways, the first book on the list is Ethic by Ashley Antoinette, okay? You need to watch my Ashley Antoinette video. Like, y'all need to be reading Ashley Antoinette. Like, she teaches you about life, about love, about relationships. Like, you gotta get into her. But anyways, Ethic. Ethic is the name of the character that's kind of like the central character of her Ethic Land world. This book, or in this series, her writing typically revolves around street politics and what it's like to live in Flint, Michigan on like the rougher side, and how people make decisions that sometimes like are not the best, and you know, leave them with consequences that are not desirable. And that's exactly what happens to Ethic. Like I said, I can't, even just reading this back is a spoiler for you if you have not read the first book that kicks off everything, which is Moth to a Flame. Yeah, so you really need to read this. The cast of characters is amazing. Watch my Ashley Antoinette video because that's all I have to say. This series just made me feel so not seen, because I cannot relate to anything these characters are going through, to be honest with you. Fully Black cast of characters, and I read it during Black History Month, and it just was everything that I wanted, okay? So, yeah, that's that. Okay, so I have to admit that I lied. This is not every book that I rated 10 stars. This is just, because, like, there's some, like, okay, some Christmas novellas I rated 5 stars, but like, I don't really want, like, those are just like cutesy and fun. I don't really want to include those. Like, these are like my top 10 5-star reads. So it's not every single 5-star, but it's like, these are my top 10 5 stars that are like serious full length books that I also physically own. Okay, anyways, okay. Next is Out of My Heart by Sharon M. Draper, okay? Yeah, this book is actually the second book of the Out of My Mind series. So if you have Disney Plus, maybe you've seen just recently a new show. It came out, or it's in the process of coming out. I think it's the same thing, called Out of My Mind, but it follows a young girl named Melody who has cerebral palsy, and however, she cannot speak. But eventually she gets like, and it takes place in like 2003 or the early 2000s, where they integrated the special education program like with Gen Ed. So like, the children who are in special education, they were able to come and join the general education children, and, you know, like how that went. So the first book, Out of My Mind, I read September 2023. And then this one I read, I think in April. And it was so good. It was so sweet. This is like definitely middle grade. Definitely like shorts. Okay, well, it's actually not that short. But the font is big. It is short. It's just 330 pages. 300, yeah. But yeah, the font is big. It's cozy. It's sweet. It's just like, you get to see how her life changes when she makes friends. And she also, her family purchases a Medi-Talker, which is a way for her to kind of like program a speech tool so that she can communicate with people through words. Because, you know, of course there's ways to communicate without words. We communicate without words all the time. So it's not that she couldn't communicate any type of language, but now she is using words. So yeah, really, really cool. I really want to watch this show, but I'm a big crier, so I don't know if I'm ready for that. But yeah, in this book, she goes to camp and she has a little crush, and like it just really warmed my heart, and like she just honestly inspires me. There's a third book in the series called this one's called Out of My Heart. The one that I need to read is called Out of My Dreams. I don't really know what's going to happen in that one, but I'm excited. But yeah, I need to read Out of My Dreams. Who knows? I might read that before the year ends. Maybe I won't. We'll see. Okay. Next, where did I go from there? There's a jump here. Okay, The Rebel King by Kennedy Ryan. So, The Rebel King is about, why am I losing my train of thought, y'all? The Rebel King is about two people. Like, okay, so the main character, let's see what her name is. Her name is Lennox. She is like, she's a Native American activist. So that's one. She's a Native American activist. And then two, she works for like an agency that helps politicians like kind of like campaign, basically. Like they basically like create the campaign trail for politicians and like help you clean up your messes and stuff. So that's what she does. And then the boy, Maxim K, well, he's not a boy, he's a man. He is like a CEO of something, and like he takes trips to go. It's something with like renewable energy and fossil fuels, something like that. I was learning a lot while reading this book. Like, I love adult romance because for honestly, for the sole reason of they're just more mature and they have like cool jobs. Like I always learn stuff about their jobs, and I'm like, oh, okay, because you know, I just love learning. Like that's part of the reason why I do love learning. Ooh. But yeah, it's just kind of like ambition. Like does ambition stop you from being with someone? And how can you both be career driven but also still be together? And it was dramatic. Okay, it was dramatic. It had heart pumping. Like it was very, very much. And like I think even his brother starts running for president, but like that goes interesting. I won't even spoil it for you, but that had me shook. I still remember that. And yeah, I did a horrible job at explaining that, but in the moment I really, really liked this book. Now I'm struggling to remember like the details about it, but like clearly at the moment I felt like it was a 5 out of 5, and I love having a Kennedy Ryan on this list. So yeah. Okay, next we have Blood at the Root by Ladarrion Williams. Of course, this is probably like my third time maybe, or if it's not my third, my second time talking about this book on my channel. I loved this book so much. I felt so seen. It's about a boy named Malik, or is it Malik? I'm gonna go with Malik. And he is living in Alabama, I think. He's living in Alabama, and he's like, he was in foster care. He was like bouncing from house to house or whatever. And, you know, he's just getting it how he lives it. But then he like discovered, like he actually has been discovered that he has powers, but something happened with his mom. Like his mom was taken away or supposedly killed or something when he was younger, and he's been struggling with that ever since. And then yes, so sorry, I had to read the synopsis a little bit because girl, I've been reading a lot. But anyway, so basically he starts displaying like this crazy power, and he basically realizes that like, oh my gosh, I have family in Louisiana. So he and his foster brother go to Louisiana so that he can connect with his grandmother and see like where did he come from, and like see like what she can help him with and stuff. And then he enrolls at Cayman University, which is an all-black HBCU. But anyways, yeah, so he enrolls in Cayman University, and he meets like his a long time like this friend he has not seen in a long time. He reconnects with her, but everything is not what it seems. Like stuff hits the fan quick. There were plot twists that I genuinely did not see coming. Like it was very much the first book in a fantasy series. Like if you love Percy Jackson, if you love Harry Potter, this is for you. And he even mentions that in the author's note. This was the first book where I actually read the author's note. I usually don't, but he basically mentions that like all these books like Twilight, Hunger Games, Maze Runner, Divergent, Percy Jackson, the Olympians, Lightning Thief, The Vampire Diaries, like all these different stories are so amazing and so beloved, but like they don't have black characters as the main people. And this was genuinely just another one of those stories. Okay, not just. It's an excellent first fantasy book with like fantasy tropes that we love, but just with black characters. And I ate it on up. Like I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop talking about it. It was so good. Okay. What's next? Oh, next we have Catch the Sun by Jennifer Hartman. This started my crazy Jennifer Hartman train of me trying to read every single book she's ever written so I can chase the high of this book. But this was the first girly. She's very tall. But anyways, Catch the Sun by Jennifer Hartman. So this was about Max and Ella. They were friends when they were younger, but then Ella's older brother gets accused of murdering someone and he goes to prison, and their family goes away. And I think her mom and her dad split or something. It's something with her mom, like she wasn't that close to her dad or something. Something happened there. And then eventually though she comes back. Eventually she moves back, and she is hashtag most hated at her school. Like nobody likes her. Everyone's making fun of her. But Max is like, I got my girl back. Like they kind of like made a promise when they were younger that like they would marry each other or whatever. So like they know it's one of those. And that's really what drew me to the plot. Like I have been seeing this on Kindle Unlimited, and I was like, this kind of looks like something I would eat right up. And eat right up I did. Like that's what I love about being so mature in my reading journey, is that like at this point in my 20s and having been a reader for like 10 plus years, I know what kind of books I'm going to eat up, and I know which kind I'm not. Typically. There are some exceptions, always. But for the most part, I can pretty much pick out a book that I'm like, oh yeah, that's going to be good. Like, I can just tell. So yeah, I could just tell this book was good, and it really, really was. They go through a lot together in this book. Tears were shed. I was smiling and squealing and kikiing and all the above. I felt everything reading this book. I low-key want to reread it, but I think I'm going to make myself wait till next fall, like late summer, early fall, because this book definitely has that feel. Like it has a late summer, early fall feel. Our main character, she loves orange, she loves flowers, she loves Winnie the Pooh, like she loves bookbinding. It's just such a like cozy vibe to it. Like it has, and there's this bridge that's like the bridge they always go to when like, you know, and the epilogue, that's one of the best epilogues I've ever read. Like sometimes epilogues don't really give me that much happiness, but this one did. Like I actually really, really enjoyed this. So yeah, the ups and downs were definitely worth it. And he gets his sunny girl back. He basically tries to like catch the sun. Like he basically tries to like bring her out of like her dark shell that she went in because of everything that happened with her brother. And I just love it. Y'all know I love grumpy girl and romantic boy. I eat that up every single time without fail. Okay. Okay. I actually messed up. That was not the correct order. I actually read better than the movies before I read that, but it's fine. I actually read better than the movies before I read both of these last two. But you know, clearly my memory is like, okay. I need to start. Yeah. Anyways, Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This book was so good. It was everything that I wanted. Every time I think of it, I think of the Duff because I'm pretty sure, yes, the Duff with, I don't even know the actors' names, but the Designated Ugly Fat Friend movie where she asked her next door neighbor to help like unduff her so that she can get the attention of this guy. That is quite literally this, but like, you know, a little bit different. But the neighbor's name is Wesley in the movie, and it's Wesley in this book. So I feel like the author definitely took inspiration from the Duff. Let's see when this came out. Yeah, this came out in 2021. I'm telling you. But anyways, but literally though, our main character, she's in love with rom-coms, and she's not nerdy, but like she's just kind of doing her own thing. Like she's not worried about what anybody else is doing. And she likes this boy, I think his name is Michael, and Michael is cool with Wesley. So she's like, hey Wesley, you're annoying and you want this parking spot that's like in front of our houses. I'm gonna give you this parking spot if you help me get Michael. So, but the gag is Wesley has been down bad for her since the beginning, obviously, because why wouldn't he be? So, yeah, it's super cute, though. Like, I feel like there are a ton of books like this, so that's why I feel like I kind of ignored. Like, I've had this book since March. I didn't read it till June, because I was just kind of like, is it going to be good? Like, but it actually genuinely was good. Like, this is one teeny bopper book that is actually worth the hype, because I feel like a lot of them are not. Like, I'm trying to see. There are only 3 books in this stack. Well, I guess, yeah, there are only 3 books in this stack that are from like the young adult high school perspective, because I'm kind of going away from young adult as I get older, because it's like the same stuff and it doesn't really hit as hard as adult sometimes. Like Catch the Sun was an exception. They were going through it senior year of high school. But yeah, anyways, super cute, amazing. Okay. Next is Spells for Lost Things by Jenna Evans Welch. This is one of the only, this is the last young adult on the list. Yeah, so my girl here, her name is Willow. His name is Mason. Mason is in foster care. Willow is, as you can see, there's a trend here. There's a lot of, you know. Anyways, Willow is basically like, she's not happy with her life. She feels like she could be doing more. She wants to get out. She wants to explore. Like, she wants to go to Paris over the summer. Like, my girl is like, I'm not messing around with like, I need to be out exploring. And I just really related to that. I read this book shortly after I took my first plane trip. And after that, I'm just like, I need to fly. I need to go everywhere. I need to fly everywhere. I need to be everywhere. So it was just really the timing. And it was so whimsical and so cute. Her aunt passes away. That timing of me saying those phrases was crazy. But her aunt passes away. And they find out that her aunt was like a low-key a witch. And they're like, oh my gosh. So like they go to her house. And like her house has like all this different magic memorabilia left behind. And she's kind of like trying to solve the mystery of that. It's kind of like very light fantasy. Like it's light fantasy. Like there's no intense lore or anything. It's just... So anyways... Then Mason discovers her and they kind of like are going through it together. And it's very cute, very heartwarming. Like I will be reading this again. You know, Miss Jenna Evans Welch, the Love and Gelato lady, she loves a good travel novel. She loves a good travel novel. Okay. And yeah, it was really just about like finding yourself but also being content with where you are and who you are, but also finding yourself. Like it was good. It was surprisingly good too. Like I got this. Yeah. Okay. Next. Okay. So next we have We only have 3 more books on the list, y'all. Okay, so next we have A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. This one, I took, you know, everyone and their mother has read this book by now, so, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, so basically, Eileen Elsie. So, Elsie is a professor. She's kind of like, she's feeling about it. Like, she's like, she kind of just, like, is lacking her own initiative in life. Like, she's kind of doing things because her best friend does them. And like, she joined this book club, and where they all read like this particular series that takes, like, it's like a romance series that takes place in this particular town, and they usually go to a cabin so they can all like spend time together and read it together. But this particular time, no one can go except for Elsie. So Elsie decides to go anyway, because she's like, well, I need to go out and explore and do things by myself. Like, let me explore life. And so she goes, but like on the way, she gets stopped in this like town that looks suspiciously just like the town that the romance series takes place in. It turns out that it is. So it's a little bit of magical realism. I think this author specializes in magical realism, because every other book that I've heard about from her is it has a similar type, like a magical thing in it. But anyways, so yeah, she gets stopped in this town and she meets this dude. He's a grumpy bookstore owner, and she basically realizes that like the characters in the town are literally the characters from the book. So it's very much a like a love letter to, what if you got to meet and talk to the characters from your favorite romance standalone series, like from the Chestnut Springs series. Like, if you were dropped into Chestnut Springs and you got to, you know, talk to the characters, like that's the idea of it. And like, I feel like that's such a cool premise. So yeah, she kind of discovers things about herself and about the characters, and about herself through the characters too, which I think was really, really cool. And then you discover like who the love interest really is. That part was kind of a mystery. That part was kind of cool. And yeah, I think I even shed a tear. Like, if I didn't shed a tear, I was very close to. And the ending was just really heartwarming, and it did have like a whimsical feeling to it. And yeah, it was good. Okay, next. Fun fact, I was actually reading this next book at the same time as this one. Well, I was reading this was physical, the other one on my Kindle, but I bought it because it was just that good. Aria by Jenna Hartman. Y'all will not get enough of me. Like, y'all will never get enough of me talking about this book, because I will be talking about it forever. Like, this book changed my entire outlook on life. But like, no, okay. It was just unexpectedly so good. But then again, not really, because when I read the premise, when I read the little, because this isn't even a real synopsis, it's actually an excerpt. It's kind of a little bit of an excerpt. No, it is a little bit of a synopsis, because yeah, this is not from the book. Anyways, it's basically like if the character were to write a synopsis, because he's saying, in my crusade to drive her away, I fell for her instead, and now I'll do whatever it takes to keep her safe, whether she's mine or not. Like, it's kind of like if the character were allowed to do a synopsis, and I love that. I really eat that up, and that's all that they give you. That's literally all they give you. So yeah, this book is about it's not about a girl named Aria like you might think. Aria is like a musical term for beginning, and I think coda is a musical term, which is the second book in the duology, in the duet. I think coda is ending, maybe. I could be totally wrong. But anyways, Aria, the first book, Chelsea and Noah. I do low-key think Chelsea and Noah are my favorite couple that Jennifer Hartman has written. The fact that there's 2 Jennifer Hartmans on this list just tells you, it should tell you something. But yeah, it was just so good. Like, I was having the time of my life reading this book. Like, it was so darn good. Like, Chelsea and Noah. Okay, you got Chelsea, you got Noah. Noah is a part of a band. He's the guitarist. And Chelsea she's working at a bar, okay? Or she's working at like a nightclub, night bar, whatever. Noah's band, they come to perform at the nightclub. Okay, are you following? Chelsea is tasked to get Noah some water. So she goes upstage, she goes up the stage, she gets him some water. She feels like he's kind of rude, like he kind of has an attitude, whatever. But the main singer, Devin, he is like, oh snap, like she kind of bad, she kind of cute. And Noah's kind of like, like we need to, we gotta be on our Zoom, like we gotta be focused on the band. But Devin's like, nah. So he invites Chelsea and her friends, like out. And so Chelsea and Devin become involved. But then one night, Devin, like, can't take Chelsea. Like, they go out, like, clubbing, partying, low-key, like, every night. But one night, Devin can't take Chelsea home. And Chelsea gets, like, really, really drunk. And she starts, like, acting up. And Noah is there still. Everyone has left except for Chelsea and Noah. And Noah's like, okay, Chelsea, I'm gonna, like, take you to my room and, like, babysit you and make sure that you're, like, okay. And then she, like, spills all her dirty secrets. And Chelsea is sitting on something. She is sitting on some baggage. Like, she has some issues. And she has some darkness that's going to come to the light very soon in this book. And stuff gets real. Okay? Trigger warnings upon trigger warnings. But anyways, after that point, Chelsea and Noah are, like, bonded. Like, it's low-key, like... It low-key reminds me of Cora and Dean in Still Beating, another book by Jennifer Hartman. Yeah, it low-key reminds me of Cora and Dean, how they, like, they're bonded by something one night, and then, like, everything changes. But, yeah, everything changes, but she's still with but Chelsea's still with Devin. So it's like a cat and mouse forbidden love. Like, they low-key didn't like each other in the beginning, but then they become friends because of this moment where she's vulnerable with him. And then they're, like, they're, like, fighting the urge to become friends to lovers, but, like, it's definitely happening. So it's just, like, it's everything that I could ever want in a book. All the tropes that I like are in this book. Like, that's the thing. Like, all the tropes that I like. Like, the girl is like, please read it. Okay, next we have Unwanted by Mia Sheridan. This book was so good. This book is low-key a mystery. Like, low-key, like a mystery, like, whatever. We figure out that the two characters have a very, very strong connection. Like, you will be surprised at exactly how these characters are connected, and it's so crazy. I didn't know really anything about this book. This is another book that I suspected I might like, and ended up really loving. Like, I did the same thing with Aria when I had it sitting on my Kindle list, and I was like, this low-key sounds like this is something I'm gonna eat up, and I did. And then same thing with Unwanted. I was like, this low-key sounds like something I'm gonna eat up, and I did. All I saw was that Harper, she's a wilderness guide, and that she was low-key attracted to this mountain man, and that's literally all I needed to know. Like, I'm trying to tell you, like, that had me sold. That had me sold. So, yeah. Harper has, like, Harper's parents have passed, and so she's kind of battling some things, and she has some shadows in her past. Trigger warnings for sure. And then this mountain man, what's his name? Lucas, I mean, why is he living in the mountains? Like, the way he gets to the mountains is, like, such a crazy, incredible journey. Like, if you like Lord of the Flies or survival type movies or anything, then that part will interest you. Like, the romance is definitely good. Like, it's definitely good, but that's not, like, the heart of it. The heart of it is, like, the connection between these two characters and the mystery involved of, like, uncovering exactly what happened. So, yeah. Love it. It was very, like, mountainy, very coldy. I low-key wish I had read this in wintertime because it's definitely a wintertime book, but it's fine. Okay. And then, wait, is that it? Oh my gosh, y'all, that's it. That is it. It's crazy because I only have one fantasy on this list, and I used to say that fantasy was, like, my favorite. Like, I used to read fantasy like you read signs, as like you what? I'm trying to make a metaphor. I'm trying to make a little phrase, and it's not working. Basically, fantasy used to be my top genre it used to be. But as of lately, I think it's because like even like back in the day when I first got into reading, I didn't hit the ground running with fantasy. I hit the ground running with like these little contemporaries and like contemporaries and mysteries. That's what really had me going. And then once you graduate from contemporaries and mysteries, that's when you can get into fantasy. So this year, like I said, was like my renaissance back into reading as an adult, and it's been so fun exploring like what authors are popular now, because definitely different authors are popular now than was like even 4 or 5 years ago. So it's just very, very cool to see like how the reading, like to reintroduce myself to that reading climate. So yeah, y'all, I don't think I'm gonna do like a least favorite books video, because if I'm really not feeling a book, I won't even finish it. Like, I'm sorry. In order to prevent me going into a reading slump, I'm not going to ever force myself to read a book that I'm just really not feeling. So yeah, and I'm trying to keep it positive on the channel. Like, I don't know. So we'll see. But yeah, y'all, those are my top 10 of the year. I hope you enjoy. See you in the next video.